Welcome back to Bat Fridays here on One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Batman number 13 and the third story, the story of the 17 Stones. You see, Rocky Grimes is being released from prison. Rocky Grimes killed a police officer while escaping a robbery. Thing is, the 20 years, he only got 20 years, that seems very low for that crime. He has maintained his innocence. Well, not so much his innocence that he has no memory of committing this crime, he has no memory of who he is, or that he's Rocky Grimes, but the fingerprint evidence shows that he is. As soon as he's released from prison, he gets hit in the head by a rock kicked up from a tire. The car goes by a tire. You get the idea. You see, this is one of them amnesia stories, one of those not exactly cartoony where you get knocked in the head and you become a completely different person like the Flintstones love to do. You see, when he committed this crime, his gang were really ticked off about this because they didn't want to go to jail for murder, though it's only 20 years apparently. So he got hit in the head with a stone, he gained amnesia. The only connection to the crime was him, and if he's not naming names, they're free to go. So he was sent to prison without realizing who he was. Now that he remembers who he was, he's going to exact his revenge through stones, because he's a very rock stone-centric villain. It's actually not a bad gimmick. He's murdering these guys by, crushing them with stones. Usually one of the stones, and it's always a different stone. So he has, a theme. He's going to kill somebody. His calling card is a different kind of stone, like sandstone or bloodstone. And he writes, "I remember" on the stone. By the way, it's really confusing why these guys weren't arrested in the first place, because we later find out they knew who was in his gang, and you think that would be proof enough that they're accessories, which was what they were worried about to begin with, because they committed the crime too. They just didn't shoot the cop. But no, they all seemed to go away free. Only one of them seemed to be a criminal. The rest had gone straight. Some of them actually working in minerals, like one with gold and another with his own little mineral museum. But he is succeeding in killing people. We spend time with at least two of these happening until Batman starts getting involved and he figures out what's going on pretty easily for him. Actually, there's a really nice moment here where Batman actually does some science to solve the crime. He goes to look for the future victims, but Rocky has broken into the police department, armed, and stormed the police department, and in Commissioner Gordon's office has burned his file, so you can't actually read who was in his gang. But Batman does this whole experiment where he's able to turn the charred paper black and the ink is absorbed as white, so he can read everything, and they confront him at the next crime. Which is not exactly how that will work, but it is fun to have Batman teach us a science lesson, sort of. It's different. It's something that hasn't really come up. We've seen him make sciencey stuff. It's just not been something that's been useful in the crime. It feels like some actual detective work, or at least some CSI work. So they confront him, and it ends up with a fight in a petrified forest, so still kind of stone there. We're really into the stones, and they fight where he ends up falling to his death. And he dies with one really great epilogue panel explaining that he is now under a tombstone. So that is our final stone of the story. Though I didn't really count, it didn't feel like there was actually 17 stones in the story, unless you start counting the bridge that collapsed on a guy. Though I'm not going to dock it for not really having the most accurate title if it didn't, because I'm not 100% certain which stones we're counting and which were not. But I actually enjoyed the gimmick. The storytelling is still pretty weak for a Golden Age story, but hey, for a one-off villain, it's kind of memorable. So that is it from Batman number 13, the third story, the story of 17 Stones. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notification when new video is up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Mondays and Thursdays I cover a Superman story in either Action Comics or Superman. And please join me next time, same Bat Day, same comic book channel. Have a great day.